Hi, good morning all. Assuming you can all hear me. Welcome to the short webinar on digital skills for business. We'll just give it 2 minutes because there's a couple of others coming in. Before we make a start, okay? Okay, so we'll crack on, and anyone who joins in can join in as we go through. So as I said, welcome to the short webinar for digital skills for business. My name is John, and I'm an IQA for the digital team in ACT that deliver this qualification. As we go through the session, if you've got any questions, then feel free to use the Q&A feature in Teams, and Jamie and one of the marketing team will pick those up as we go through, okay? The plan for today is to give you a very short sort of overview of the program and the qualifications themselves before we have a look at some skills that in Excel that you can potentially learn if you sign up for the course with us here, okay? So very briefly, Digital Skills for Business is a brand new course. It's released just after Christmas, and currently we're offering it at level 2 and level 3. The level 2 course is a 15-month program, and level 3 is an 18-month program. Okay. Learners who this course is suitable for any sort of learner who uses computers in their workplace and are potentially looking to explore more features of the technology in which they use every day. And typical sort of candidates that we have had on similar courses that we've run previously are people who are wanting to increase their confidence with IT, wanting to say explore more of the features of the software that they're using. Or some people just want a formal qualification for the skills that they've already got, and this sort of qualification ticks that box. And of course, on the way, then they also pick up some new skills as well. If you sign up for this course with us, our delivery model is one-to-one sessions with your assessor on a monthly basis, and then a series of 1 or 2 day workshops as you go through the program. Okay. Content-wise, there are many different units that you can study on each of the levels. I've put some examples of the different units that make up the course here. Okay, so level 2, for example, digital collaboration, sharing digital information is all about using collaboration tools, Teams, OneDrive, things like that. Preparing documents and publications goes along with the word processing unit, and that looks at using your skills to create work-based documents. Digital presentations is PowerPoint and Sway and Prezi and things like that. And then spreadsheets is Excel, for example, okay? And then obviously level 3 is very similar, but stepped up in terms of what we deliver in those sessions and what skills we're asking you to demonstrate. So, for example, there'll be a significantly increase in level in spreadsheet techniques in level 2 to the spreadsheet software that you'll need to use in the level 3. Okay. I believe Jamie's got some links to the course specs where you can see all these units and look at them in a bit more detail should you wish to have those at the end of the session. Okay. So that's sort of the Digital Skills for Business course outline. What my plan is now to have a very quick run through of some Excel tips and tricks for you and look at some of the things that we can go through with you on when you sign up for Digital Skills for Business. So there's 4 things we're going to have a look at with Excel, we're going to start off by having a look at tables and some of the skills and quick analysis tools you can use with those. Then we'll have a look at some conditional formatting, along with some data validation then towards the end, okay? So one of the newer features potentially of Excel is the ability to use tables. And if you put your data into a spreadsheet and press Control and T on the keyboard, that allows you to create a table from the data that you've got. Okay. Now the benefits of this table, one, it colors it in nicely for you. All right, and you can pick your color scheme in the styles at the top as to how you want to make it look. But the main benefit is it gives you access to this quick analysis option down the bottom. And if I click on that, it allows me to add some analysis to the table itself. So I can, for example, put data bars on to show the different bits of data that are on there. There's various options on these I can use then as well. I can draw really quick charts based on this data. Okay. So if I go to charts, and there you see I can draw a really quick chart based on the data that you've got. The other thing you can do on these is you can put summaries in. So I can put totals down the bottom. So if I want to quickly add up all my figures in this table, I can go onto my quick analysis tools, click sum, okay, and it'll automatically add up all those columns for you. Similarly, you can do that going down the side as well. Okay. Just bear in mind, if you notice, it does change your graph a little bit then when you add that in as well. Okay, so there's lots of things we can do with the quick analysis options on the tables. The other nice thing about converting a table, if you've got lots of data entry to do, you can go in and you can customize your toolbar, or your quick access toolbar in this case, to create a form for you. Okay, so if I do all commands, come down to I find forms. There, I can add this, I can click add then, and this will add a form into my quick access toolbar. See, it's already there. Okay, and then if I go into my table, click the form, this allows me then to add new records to my table using a form instead of going into the cells itself on Access. Okay, so USB stick, I sold, I know 20 of them in 156. Okay, and I can add that into the table, and you can see it automatically goes into the table itself. Okay, and then all my charts and graphs and things that I've drawn using that table have been updated. Okay, so that's the first sort of quick sort of tip and tool I wanted to show you. The second one,
John, just quickly.
Yes.
Someone said they didn't see how you got up the options for that tip.
What, adding the form into the top, is it? Was that the bit you're on about?
I'm not sure, sorry. It just said I didn't see how you got up the options then.
Okay.
They're typing. 2 seconds, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Oh, right. So to customize, yeah, I get. So to customize the toolbar, it's file, and right down the bottom you've got options. Okay, right the bottom corner of that menu that comes up, and then in there you can customize how Excel looks generally. You know, where your like default saving areas are and things like that. And there's 2 options in there that allows you then to either customize the ribbons that you get going across the top. All right, or in this case, I went into the quick access toolbar, which is the bit on the green line at the top where you've got undo, redo, and the little floppy disk save button, okay? And that form is in there. You've got to go in and make sure you select all commands, because it does split them up into popular commands first. But if you go to all commands, then it brings up absolutely everything you can put in that quick access bar, okay? That one, okay. So tables is a really good tool. You can obviously then customize these charts and graphs that you do to meet your needs. So for example, when you click on the graph, you've got chart design up here where you can make your chart look stand out, yeah, and customize it to however you need. If you go into the chart layout on the side, you can add various different bits to it. So if I wanted to put labels on there, I can. Okay, and I can double click on these then and edit these as I need to, all right? Okay, so I can customize the various different bits and pieces on this chart as much as I need to, all right? Moving on from this one then, I want to show you some of the things like conditional formatting, for example. Conditional format is really useful if you've got to color code everything. So, for example, if you're red, amber, and green, so ragging, sort of marking things as red, amber, or green, depending on whether targets have been met, for example, conditional formatting can do that by looking at the content of the cell and changing the, for example, the fill color based on the content. So this is our Welsh cinema chain, okay? And if, for example, I want to mark on here any sale over 150 tickets is good for a performance, I can go into my conditional formatting button. I can add a new rule. Okay, and then in here, from the format only cells that contain, I can give it a set of rules to follow, right? So if I'm going to say, right, if my cell value is greater than 150, okay, I'm going to change that to a green fill, for example. Okay. In fact, I'm going to change that to greater than or equal to. And now when I click OK, now what you should see is every cell that's over 150 is highlighted in green. Okay. I can add as many of these rules onto this sheet as I need to. So if anything then was, let's go less than or equal to, let's say, I don't know, anything less than or equal to 60 is bad. Okay, so I can format that as red, so you can see any sort of underperforming films. Okay, and it's highlighted all in red. And then I might as well fill the gaps in. So let's do a new rule. And the cell values between, so it's 149 that in, and 61 that in. And then amber, okay. So I can easily see now which of my sales for those films in those cinemas are performing well, which are performing badly, and which are sort of in the middle, okay? The reason I highlighted every cell to start with, because the conditional format will apply to the cells that you've highlighted. So if you only highlight one cell at a time, you've got to put those 3 rules on every cell. However, if you highlight the whole range of them, you can just apply the rule once and it will appear on every cell in your spreadsheet, okay? One of the things you can do then as well is you can use the sort and filter function. If we've got a filter on, okay, so I can filter then, let's say Bridgend, I can filter by color, so it'll show me which of my high performing films. I can basically rank my films then from best performing down to lowest, okay, because it will filter by color. All right. So that's conditional format, and there's many more things you can play around with in the conditional format in Field, okay, including added things like data bars, okay, which will show you the percentage of how far those numbers up are in comparison with the others in that list. Okay, you can do icon sets so that you can do little pictures on them. Okay, there's many things you can play around with on there. The next sort of tip, if you like, I want to talk about is data validation. So data validation in here allows us to control what data goes into a field or into a cell in Excel. So this is like test scores for various pupils, okay, and the maximum mark a pupil can get is 100. At the moment, there's nothing stopping anyone putting in sort of any number they want, even if that number is outside the range, okay? However, Excel give us an option to never find it. There we go. To add some data validation to the rule, which limits what can go into that cell. So again, I've highlighted all the cells because I want the same rule applied to everything, okay? So in here now, in my data validation box, I can allow whole numbers. Because normally when you mark a test, you can't give decimals. So we're linking it to whole numbers. And I can set a maximum number then. So my score is between 0 and 100, okay? So that means anything outside of that range of cells can't be entered into the box. Okay, Excel will not allow it. I can add a input message, which is a little tooltip that when someone hovers over the cell, they will see this pop up. So I'll put mark range in there, for example. Must be between 0 and 100. And I can also generate an error message on the next tab across, which will appear if they try and go outside of that cell range, okay? Let's do error value not between 0 and 100. Okay, so if I click OK now, when I hover over the cell, you can see that the mark range message is coming up. And if I try typing in a value between that range, it works fine, it'll let it go in. If I try typing a value that's outside of that range, it'll now give me an error message to say that I've got an issue there with that data that's gone in, okay? And then know then that I've got to go in and re-enter that data. Okay, so if I cancel that, I can go back in then and put in a number that's suitable. Okay, and that'll work then on all those ones that's highlighted. Okay. Similarly, we can use data validation in a different way as well. So this spreadsheet is meant to simulate like an order form, if you like, where the quote I'm giving someone for computer equipment, okay, is generated. So if I type a product in here, my quote box should fill in with the product code and the selling price, which it's drawing from this list of products on the side. If I put the quantity in, then it'll tell me the value of that, okay? 4 of those products, for example. Now, the issue I've got here is that it's fine if you get the spelling right, for example, but if I spell something incorrect, okay, or I pick something that's not on the list, it gives me error messages through my form. So again, what I can do is I can use the data validation option on here. And this time we can use a list, okay? And then I can select list. If I click on the little button there, I can select all the products that are in my list. Okay, and again, I can do a tooltip. and then I can do an error message. Okay, and this time now, when I click in that box, I should get a drop down of all the products that are on my list of data. Okay, so I can't really select one incorrectly. Okay, I can't really spell one incorrectly either. If you get the hashtag message error messages there, that just means your column's not big enough, and if you make it wider, okay, all your text will fit in. All right. So you can select the data validation to do this as well. All right, so in Power Supply, let's have 2 of those. Okay. The other thing down here that Excel allows you to do is if you've got the developer tab open and you've got the form controls, you can select, you can use these little checkboxes. So if my customer wants delivery, for example, I can tick the little box there and it will add delivery in. Okay. And all that does is when you add that tick box in, if you look at the function up here at the moment, it's got true in because the box is ticked. If I untick that, okay, it changes it to false. I can tick it again, it changes to true. And then there's a formula in there then that just basically it's an if statement that says, okay, if that's true, then put 10 in there. If it's not true, then put 0 in there, okay? And that's another way then that you can use data validation to control what goes into your spreadsheet and make it a bit more robust, perhaps, especially if you're sharing your spreadsheet around various different people in departments and things, and you don't want them to break it. Data validation is a good way to make sure that the data going in is correct. All right. And I think, folks, obviously, I don't want to give too much away in this seminar because we really do want you to sign up for these courses so you can learn more skills on sort of similar to what we've shown you very quickly on this session today, okay? But these are all skills that gets covered on either the level 2 or the level 3 spreadsheets unit, okay, within the qualification, plus a lot more. I mean, the level 3 one looks at pivot tables and various things like that as well. Okay, so I hope you've enjoyed the very quick run through, the very quick demonstration of the skills that you could learn if you signed up for the Digital Skills for Business course in Excel, and hopefully, if any of you got any questions, we'll happily sort of answer anything that's coming up at the moment. Okay, so we got one in there was pre-submitted. How do you perform basic calculations, addition, subtraction, multiplication, etc.? So again, the more the level 2 qualification this would be in, but basically in Excel, if you've got data in 2 sheets, I'll zoom in a little bit so you can see those. Okay. The magic button is the equals button. Okay, so if I press equals, I'm then looking at what cell these numbers are in. So 4, for example, is in cell B2, so I can type B2. Okay, and you can see you've got the right cell because the blue box has gone around it. If I want to add this together, then I want the 5, so that's in B3, and they've changed the color this time, so you can really see if that's worked as well. And then once you've got your sum in, okay, you can press enter and that will give you the right answer. Now, the nice thing about this one is if you've made a mistake and let's say 2 should be 40, I can just change the data in the cell and my formula will update the answer for me, so you don't have to do anything to the formula to change that, okay? subtraction, multiplication, etc. are exactly the same. You would just change the symbol between the two letters. So instead of plus, I'd have minus in there. Okay. Or if you multiply in, it's a times sign, which is a star in Excel's case. And then divide, and there is a backslash. Okay. Can you create an Excel template specifically for digital format in? And there's the preferred options. I need red text up. You can create templates. It depends if your spreadsheets are exactly the same, Lucy. Yeah. You can create a template in Excel itself, so you can keep reusing the spreadsheet. But I don't think you can save rules, if you like, within the conditional formatting section, so that they're reusable in future. But just say you can create a template within a spreadsheet, just not within the conditional formatting rules. All right. Excellent. Any other questions? No, if there's no more questions, then I'll just say thank you all for attending. Hope you found it interesting, useful. Jamie's just added some links into the chat, okay, for the course outlines from the awarding bodies. So if you go on there, you can find more about each of the units that you study. If you click on each of the units down the bottom, I think I'll show you on here. Okay, so this is the level 3 one. If you scroll down the bottom, you've got the unit achievement groups, which outline each of the units in each of the qualifications. If you click on the number next to it, so the CP33, the big blue number, in effect, that can go in, and then it can show you all the criteria and stuff that you need to have for that unit. Okay. The other thing to say with digital skills for business, it's all coursework based. All right, so there's no exam in the digital skills for business course outside of the essential skills stuff. It's all portfolio evidence based. All right. Thanks. I'm sure if any of you got any questions outside of this, if you get in touch with any of the marketing team, they'll be happy to answer any questions you have. Okay. Brill. Thank you very much, all, and hope to see you all soon on one of our courses. Give your hand up, Jamie.